Zenless Zone Zero's setting of New Eridu is nothing short of a visual masterpiece. Especially areas like Lumina Square can have me wander around aimlessly just taking in the sights. But whilst looking at New Eridu's skyline, with its many skyscrapers and unique buildings, I came to wonder, are these things actually inspired by something in our world? So in this video I'm gonna be trying to find real-life equivalents to some of New Eridu's most striking buildings. One of the most iconic views of New Eridu in general is undoubtedly the striking skylines we can see from either side of the river, where dozens of skyscrapers and even towering Shiyu pillars can be seen. The way the skyline is made closely resembles the skyline of Shanghai, where MiHoYo is based, so that makes complete sense. This also makes a lot of sense when it comes to the general aesthetic of New Eridu, which is a lot more East Asian when it comes to the architecture. But while this is a very general look, some specific buildings have clear inspirations, starting with a location we can actually visit. Starloop Tower is one of the most impressive buildings in Zenless, both inside and out, with it dominating the skyline on the side of Lumina Square with its unique look. Starloop is probably based on the many radio and television towers in China, with the main dome and stage part being taken directly from Suzhou Television Tower in Suzhou, China, with its saddle-like ring around the main observation deck. The base itself seems to be a mix of multiple design used for such towers, as it doesn't have the frames of the one in Suzhou, but radio and television towers in China all have unique bases and designs, so it's not like it's completely out of the realm of reality. Like, Starloop Tower could definitely be a real-life radio and television tower, which makes it only more fitting that many televised events like Astra Yao's concerts are given there, as they broadcast throughout New Eridu. Interestingly enough, even some of the buildings we see close-up have some clear real-life inspiration, like the Gravity Cinema in Lumina Square, which, while at first looks like any modern South Asian movie cinema, is, I think, loosely based on the Saga City of Light Entertainment Center in Shanghai, which does a lot of theater works and such. The red door contrasting the white and grey blocky exterior just seems too perfect to just be a coincidence. Right next to the cinema, we have the main shopping center part of Lumina Square, with its huge digital billboards and funky walls made up of triangles interlinking together. While this is not a unique wall design, I think its closest real-life relative is the Vincom Mega Mall in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, which features the same triangle-like walls in a lot of places. I think these are, aside from the HIA building, the most interesting and unique ones in Lumina Square. Unfortunately, I think the HIA building is completely original, but if you find it online, please let me know. Because of New Eridu's location, surrounded by rivers and a large ocean, there's quite a few bridges we can see from places like Lumina Square and Port Elvis. This one in particular, which dominates most of the view from Port Elvis, really struck me as it features pretty unique supports. And I think this bridge closely resembles the support of the Yuanglou Yangtze River Bridge in China, which is one of the largest bridges in the world and really closely related to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, USA. Are you enjoying the video so far? Well, quickly consider doing all of the silly YouTube things like leaving a like, leaving your thoughts on New Eridu's architecture, and if you really like what I'm doing, consider becoming a member for as little as €2 or your regional equivalent per month to get your name featured at the end of every video. Right, let's get back into it. Now, because I had so much luck with the last bridge, I really hoped I could find more named bridges, like this one in Lumina Square. Unfortunately, this one just seems to be a generic cable-stayed bridge, but I really do love the more rounded designs of the supports. Then what about this really cool looking green bridge by the Ballet Twins? Could this be a unique bridge? Alas, this one just seems to be another generic bridge. This time a through arch bridge, which funnily enough is mostly used for either pedestrians or railways. But considering this bridge has handrails, I think you're supposed to walk over it to get to the Ballet Twins. Speaking of the Ballet Twins, these twin tower skyscrapers are another named and well-explored area of New Eridu that we can visit, so I just knew I had to find these in real life. Unfortunately, there are many skyscrapers in the world that can be classed as twin towers. But what makes the Ballet Twins unique, aside from the fact that one of them is completely swallowed up by the hollow, is that they're not symmetrical and feature a curved top. The closest relative I could find is the Nanjing International Youth Cultural Center in Nanjing, China, mostly because of the blocky and curved tops and the fact that the buildings aren't the same height, 314.5 meters and 255 meters respectively, which, you know, could be the same difference that the Ballet Twins have. Now, for our last look-see, I think everyone is familiar with this incredible skyline we can see from Lamina Square, and even poking out from the observation deck of Starloop Tower. This part of New Eridu has the most unique buildings and towering skyscrapers. To our right, however, we see a building that is unique to the world of Zenless Zone Zero, a Shiyu tower made to hold back the hollows. Right next to it we see a cool curve or fin type skyscraper. I wasn't actually able to find a good match for this one without seeing it from other angles, as most curved skyscrapers kinda curve towards a point on one end, but the closest buildings I could find to this are the KK100 building in Shenzhen, China, or the Greenland Pulley Center in Jinan, China. However, I think it's these three skyscrapers that draw the eye the most. The one on the right, slightly further away from the others, looks a lot like the Central Plaza building in Hong Kong, because of the pyramid shape at the top and the bluish vibe it has. The tallest one in the middle resembles the Tokyo Skytree a bit in my opinion, due to the weird bowl-like shape it has before it hits the top, which is a pretty distinctive part of the Tokyo Skytree. Now, the third skyscraper and also that smaller skyscraper next to it look a lot different architecture-wise. More blocky and less shiny or glassy than most of the other buildings we've seen so far. I actually think that for the inspiration of these buildings, and ones like them, we gotta leave Asia and actually go to North America, as the taller one resembles large American skyscrapers like 70 Pine Street and the Empire State Building in New York City, USA, because of the blocky top bit they have. Meanwhile, the smaller one looks like it took inspiration from the Key Tower in Cleveland, USA. To be honest, it feels like many North American skyscrapers follow this design. And these kind of designs mixing both East and West are kinda peppered throughout New Eridu. These are all the buildings I managed to identify because they had some kind of detail going on. Most others were either very generic, unique for the game, or so low poly that I would have no idea what to do with it. What I love about the way New Eridu takes inspiration from many real-life buildings in our world is how it helps make the world of Zenless feel more realistic. We can definitely imagine how those buildings were made and what their purpose are, who works or lives there, and how they look back at us from all the way on the other side of New Eridu. I also like how the skyline and buildings aren't just copied from an existing city like Shanghai, and even includes design cues from other countries like Japan and the United States. It really makes New Eridu feel like a multicultural city where not only the people but also the architecture is shaped by the many cultures that reside in it, you know, being the last city on the planet and everything. But what's your favorite location in Zenless Zone Zero? And what do you hope from future locations in New Eridu? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing or even joining the channel, as I post regular deep dives and reviews into the games that I love.